SCOTTIE McCLUE, and we are, of course, live till 10 to tell 10 to tell 10 to tell 10. That SCOTTIE McCLUE is live just for you. Here we go. Let's see what's happening. Frank McElroy. Good evening, Scotty. Hello, Frank. How are you getting on, buddy? Good to have you with us. Excellent stuff. Mark Simpson, Dinky-Doo. Lee Howson. Fantastic evening and welcome back, Scotty. Is this going to be a new regular slot? Well, Lee, if it goes well, who knows? You know, I mean, this is what it's all about. Hi, Scotty. Hope you're well. Kareem Zachariah. Lovely to have you with us as always. I am very well. Good evening, Scotty, says Anthony. Good evening, Auntie. Me and Mrs. Mac have missed you. Well, we've all missed you. Absolutely. Dinky-Doo, J-Dog, how are you? Dinky-Doo, how are you? Lovely to have you with us. Hi, everyone. Gordon Robertson. How fantastic. Wonderful stuff. So there we are. Welcome and welcome to live chat. He's late, Gordon Robertson. Remember, we never ever say Scotty's late. Scotty arrives when he arrives. And we were right on 10 o'clock sharp tonight. So there we go. Due to popular demand, he's back once again. So there we are. Hello there, China. Alistair Campbell. Lovely to have you with us. Nice to have you back. Nice to have you back, Gordon. I have to say, and I hope wee Oliver is okay. Maybe not so wee Oliver now. You seem to have your voice back, Scotty. That's great. J-Dog, I'd been giving it so much welly. That's the thing. You can give your voice too much welly. And that's the thing. So sounding a bit brighter tonight. Is that right? That's good stuff. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Now, we'd better just do a little bit of sharing and let everybody know what is what, that we're back in business here. I hope you're all well now. I need feedback from you. I'm not going to read out messages if they're all to each other and things like that, because you can get in touch anytime. So we're not having the show used as a platform. I think that's probably why quite a few people decided it wasn't for them, because it sounded a bit cliquey. So we don't want to sound cliquey. So there we go. So excellent stuff. If you haven't shared and liked and subscribed, then come on, get on with that. Very, very important. Très important. What I'll do, of course, is I shall, what do we do here? Oh, yes. I shall, there it is. Yes, that's the stuff for them. Just doing a bit of sharing. Now then, what have you been up to since our last regular show, Scotty? Will this be a new regular show? Well, would you like it? I mean, is this a good idea? 10 o'clock Friday night, quick chit chat. So there we are. Did you hear about the new contact and trace app that's launched today? So there we are. I don't think it's great for national security. Interesting, J-Dog. We need to hear more. Dinky-Doo, have you found out what happened with the Waverley? No, Betty, I haven't. And I got very annoyed for people making cheeky comments when they didn't know what had happened. You know, long time no speak. Yes, absolutely, Frank, but it's good you're here. I don't know where you were. All of us doing great, thanks. Unfortunately, Toya passed away, so now I have a miniature Russian hamster called Amy. R.I.P. Toya, Gordon, and we send love, because that wee thing would have brought so much joy and pleasure. So there we are, fantastic. A new hamster called Amy and a new Syrian hamster called Fraser. Both are lovely. Now, my belief is that the hamsters originated in Syria. So there we are, wonderful. So they're Syrian. Has everybody liked? We need more liking. Let's get on with the likes. Dinky-Doo, I say, very, very important. I'm just doing a little bit of checking everything out, because obviously I haven't been on it for a while. Scotty, I downloaded the new Protect Scotland app, and does it work all right for you, Kareem? Yo, Scotty, it's Pop Snake. Pop Snake, Dinky-Doo, liked and shared. Oh, Kareem, you're so good. Still working early mornings, 5 a.m. starts. Good for you, Frank. Excellent stuff. Now, what do we have here? Let's just do a bit of chit-chat and see what's going on. Missed you, Scotty. Great to have you back. Thanks, Tony. And nice to see you again as well. Very, very good. Right. What have I got here? I'll just do a bit of that. Good. And a bit of that. That's excellent. And we can save the changes there. Wonderful, save changes. Social media, that's great, isn't it? Wonderful to be back. Now, I want to know all about what's been happening with you guys. So give us the chit chat. Remember not to mention businesses or individuals or anything like that. Nothing on the top. Has everybody liked? I'm about 12 likes short. So somebody's not liked the stream. Look for the little thumbs up. Well, there we are. And see if we can do a bit of that. Ah, here we are here. This is the stuff. This is the ticket for now. Right. Did you get your notifications, your early warning that McClue was on? Dinky-Doo says, "Wee Ween." Hello, Wee Ween. Dinky-Doo to you. Lovely to have you with us. Ah, there we go. Excellent stuff. That's good. Right. And that's good as well. Excellent. Right. And we can pop onto that and do a little bit of sharing. The app needs access to your Bluetooth on your mobile phone to see who you've been in close contact with. Now, wait a minute, J-Dog. This is interesting. This is our friend J-Dog. He's talking about the new app for your health, which has been launched in Scotland. A lot of people have downloaded it, so I just want to see what's going on there. J-Dog says the app needs access to your Bluetooth on your mobile phone to see who you've been in close contact with. It seems like, don't worry about the cough, had it for 20 years. It seems like they're using Bluetooth to track our location. Yeah, but I mean, how would they know who you've been in contact with if you're tracking the location? Just, I wonder if I'm losing the place. I put 2 bags of Earl Grey in the 1 cup tonight. I think maybe I just was running through stuff in my head to make sure I'd done it. And I was a bit blasé about the tea making. So I put the 2 bags in the 1 cup. Right, I'm 10 likes short now, so we'll sit here until everybody's found the wee thumbs up. Where is it? Is it to the left of the chat? Is that right? To the left of the chat, guys? The thumbs up, the likes. Can anybody tell us where it is? Come on now. Fess up. Let's know where it is. Like now. Thanks, Frank. What's happening? What happened to... I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, wee wins. The problem with the show is nothing happens. Ever. Says William Wallace. Ah, tell us more, William. What were you thinking? Yes, nothing happens ever. So we need to work out. I need more likes, guys. Have you all liked? I can see it here. You see, I'm watching. So you need to look for the wee thumbs up that side. Is it that way or that way? Right? So William Wallace, tell us a bit more. Nothing happens ever. Scottie, have you ever... I don't know what this is. I think we'll just... You've gone, actually. A bit of nonsense there. Yes, somebody not quite getting it. There we are. Excellent. Right. It needs your Bluetooth, but you can restrict it with things. I'm happy with it anyway, says Kareem. Ah, right, Kareem. Yes, bit of information there. Fantastic. Kareem, have you just given me £1? How do you think this will be a wake-up for those who have become complacent? Says Betty. Right. Now, Betty, when you say a wake-up, do you mean the app? Yes, is that what we're talking about here? Let's get a bit of sharing going, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and those who identify as others. Yes. Now, what I'll do, I'm just going to do the sharing. But William Wallace, I was interested in what you said there. He says, the trouble with the show is nothing ever happens. You see, so do we, you see, I've got you all on as guests. So instead of that, do I get guests on and you all watch and listen? That sort of idea. You see, we haven't quite defined what we're doing. We just know that it's the Scottie McClue pop-up and that we all join in and have a chit-chat. And there's nothing wrong with that, I say, but I am interested in William's feedback. I would be a fool foolish not to do that, you see. So there we are, and we'll just do the live now bit. I think that's very important. Live now. So, yes, there we are. It's all working as it should. Quite unusual, isn't it? It's all working as it should. It's always unusual. There we are. Right. I think I spoke too soon. That didn't work there. Right. There we are. Live now. And let's go here. Lovely. Right. That's that posted, so that should let everybody know on YouTube. There we are. It's top left, easily seen. Frank McElroy, excellent. So, Frank has just said that the likes are easily seen, top left. So get up the top left and get liking, everybody. Likety like. So I'm just thinking if the app hasn't been securely coded, it could be easily hacked. J-Dog, I would think a government app would be properly securely coded, wouldn't you? But we never know with anything. We never know. Nobody knows. It's a bit like the virus itself. Nobody actually knows. Right, I've switched to live chat. Kareem Zachariah has tapped the dollar and sent McClue £1. Kareem, thank you. Top man. But no more. You're too generous. You're a very, very generous man. Thank you. Right, so there we go. And fantastic. Wonderful. Keep things the way they are, Scottie. There's no need for change. Absolutely, Frank. But we like to see what people are fancying, and then we give them what we want to do, you know? Mr. McClue, Dinky-Doo, it's been too long. Robert Scrimger, how lovely to have you back with us again. That's fantastic. Think you need to hit the block button for the new wee clown that's appeared, Scottie. No respect. Lee Howson, the new wee clown is just gone. So there we are. The new wee clown will probably be back, but we'll just keep sending the new wee clown away. Yes, we don't get away with that. They're not listening to the stream. They don't understand how it works, that we have big respect for each other on here. So there we go. People think Facebook's securely coded. People still manage to hack into people's accounts. Well, I can remember, yes, I remember going on one bit of my page and people suddenly were hitting me with messages and going, whoa, I'm getting messages from you that's not from you. And I thought, no, it won't be. So we just don't use it. So don't send me a message on Facebook because I won't get it. It's highly unlikely. Tony says, I wonder why the BBC cancelled Nicola Sturgeon's daily coronavirus broadcast. Yes, I wondered about that too, Tony. It's a very strange thing to do for a Scottish broadcaster to not have the First Minister centre stage. I would certainly be doing it. I don't know if you saw, but it's 6 years since we had the post that I was roundly tipped to run broadcasting in Scotland if we became independent. Thought that was rather nice. How's it going, Scottie? Says Joseph. Joseph Aitken, not been on for a few weeks. Lovely to have you with us. And Dinky-Doo, I say. Betty says, it's all about the virus. Some people have been complacent. This will be a wake-up call. Absolutely. That's why I would have thought that the public service broadcaster would want to cover all the COVID details from Scotland's First Minister, the head of the government. Very, very interesting. So there we go. Anyway, it's all to do with politics, but it shouldn't be, J-Dog, you see. That's the whole thing. I mean, McClue, as you know, is apolitical. I do not have any political allegiance one way or the other. I like to keep my nose nice and clean. And, you know, the coronavirus is not political. It doesn't respect any party. You could get it if you're a Tory, you could get it if you're Labour, you get it if you're Green, you could get it if you're SNP, you could get it, anybody could get the virus. So it's not political, really, from that point of view. Very strange. Do you think the BBC are bowing to opposing political pressure? Well, it's a long story, Tony, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. The BBC, as you know, was started in 1922 by John Reith, a Glaswegian, Glasgow Academy boy. And, his parents stayed in the West End. His father was a churchman. And Big John started the BBC in 1922 as the British Broadcasting Company, because after the First World War, the British government thought, we need to get control of these airwaves. This is very, very powerful. So it was put in John's hands, very, very capable hands, may I say. And he ran it for the next, 13 years or something like that. Now, there was a run-in with the government in 1926 over the general strike, because the government said, give us control of the airwaves, till we talk to all these strikers. And Reith said, no, we do it editorially. Very brave. So that was it. Churchill tried to give him £100 of his own money to let him broadcast, and John told him the BBC's not for sale. So that was it. That was Churchill told, and the pair of them fell out. They didn't like each other for the rest of their lives. So that was, I think they respected each other, but they didn't particularly like each other. And in fact, John wouldn't even take Lady Reith along to Churchill's funeral in 1965, January 1965. So that was all that side of things. So that was sorted out. And then I think when it came to the Iraq War, the BBC were telling it like it is. And, they were just saying a bit too much for Number 10. So there was a huge stishy. The Director General went, the Chairman went, the BBC board kind of fled instead of standing up to the government and saying, we are the BBC, because it's a strange kind of hybrid structure. The governors are appointed by the Queen on the advice of the Prime Minister. Do you see what I mean? So, because it's the British Broadcasting Corporation. So there's what you've got there. So you've got to draw your own conclusions now. But I don't see a great deal of evidence of the BBC having teeth, very sharp shark's teeth, that they don't let politicians, particularly the government outrageous and the government emeritus and all these sort of things, they don't let them away with anything, or they shouldn't let them away with anything. But there you go. I mean, who remembers the likes of Robin Day? If you can get through Robin Day, then you've got the vote. That's what they used to say. Scottie, this winter will be deadly for many with COVID. People's complacent attitude will be their downfall. I worry for the elderly and vulnerable, because the selfish others just don't care. I know, Kareem, this kind of dichotomy we're dealing with, of people saying, oh, you'll not tell me what to do. I'll not be staying in my house, because I heard that the Seven Dwarfs, you can't have more than 6 meeting. So one's not happy, and that sort of thing. They're showing that they've got political motifs by cancelling the First Minister's broadcast. That's not what we pay the fee for. Keep everyone informed. So there we are. Well, as far as I understand it, Scotland pays 9% of the licence fee. So there we are. And apparently we get about 3% of the programming. So we shall see. It's very difficult in school just now, especially for me, as I have to go to a different school for a subject. Glasses keep steaming up when I have my mask on. J-Dog, I know exactly what that's like. When I put on my mask, because I'm a very hot person, when I put on my mask, my glasses steam up right away. I have to take my glasses off. A lot of brightness coming through your badge, Scottie. Have you polished it? Is it dazzling you? Because what I can do, bear with me, and I'll just cut the light a bit. There we are, and that might. I don't want to dazzle everybody with the old McClue badge. You know, is that better? Yes? Big improvement. Or has it gone too dark? Is everything too dark? No. Are we all right? So there we are, Lee Howson. Less brightness coming from the old bonnet badge now, Lee. Is that all right? Is that a big improvement, I ask you? Have I polished my badge? Fantastic. Right. Let's get some proper sharing here because not a soul will know that we're on. Where did you go? I disappeared, Stuart. I popped off to the control room to sort one or two things out, to the control centre. Yes, ground control to Major Tom, I said. There we are. That's it. Live now. Pardon me. Don't worry about the cough. Had it for 20 years. Right. Live now. Excellent. Is it good? Are you enjoying us all being back together? I ask you. There we are. Nationwide coin hunt has joined us. Evening, Scottie. Evening, Nationwide. The picture is perfect, Scottie. Gordon Roddick. What a privilege to see you and what a joy. I hope you got my little message last week. I found that rather strange. I'd looked at it and I thought to myself, no, it can't be. But I thought it has to be. So there we are. Lovely, lovely to have you with us. And thank you very much for all your wonderful work in another place, as they say, on social media. What I'm doing is I'm just doing a bit of sharing to let everybody know what's what. And if you can all do the same, guys, that would be just great. Just fantastic. Because there's so much media. You know, people say, oh, but you don't have a huge audience. You say, no, but it's amazing how it all mounts up. We're well over 500,000 viewers to the site, you know, and I think that's incredible. And of course, there's so many other Scottie McClue sites on there. I'm just doing what I'm doing is a live now. Fantastic. Gordon, I can listen to you for hours on any subject, but particularly on all the old STV stuff. Who have we got? Here's Jerry. Jerry, I hope you're well. Hi, Scottie. How are we doing? Dinky-Doo. Lovely to have you with us. Dinky-Doo, says Tam. Hello, Tam. Lovely to have you with us and welcome, I say. Great to be popping up again and just seeing what is what. Right, so there we go. I think we can share into the Scottie McClue group. That would be a good idea. There we are. Scottie McClue fan group. And there's about 3,000 of you on there, which is excellent. A wee mention for the victims of 9/11 19 years ago. Absolutely Neil O'Gorney. And I think I was the only phone-in presenter that kept his show that night. And it was the most outstanding show. Very humbling experience. A lady phoned in and her son had a meeting at the World Trade Center at 9 o'clock. And she obviously couldn't get in touch with him. And he was stuck in the metro on his train. His train had got stopped in the metro. So that's what was going on there. But it must have been just so difficult for her, heartrending. And it was wonderful. She called the show. And at the end of the night, we played the American national anthem and the United Kingdom national anthem at the end of the show. There we are. Did you see my message about Robin Day? I didn't, Frank. No. Scottie, you're back. Many a time I was thinking, be nice if we had Scottie's banter back. Well, here we are, Kareem. Are you up for a wee tune in the box tonight? Yes, we might do that. Perfect, says Lee. So there we are. What did we get? Hi, Scottie, my friend, says Jerry Boy. No, I don't see it, Frank. There we are. Nope, don't see it. Nope. Robert Scrimger. Good to see you again, Scottie, says the wonderful Gordon Roddick. And you, Gordon, of course. Tremendous. The BBC has always been too high-minded. Listen, there's no doubt about it. They've made some great programs, but they need to stay out of politics. Well, I once asked somebody why the BBC had not snapped me up, because a lot of the producers used to say to me in private, we love what you do, absolutely love it. Wish we could do it. So I wondered why they hadn't snapped Scottie McClue up. National show, phone in, one of the big radio networks. And somebody said that as a presenter, you can't have an opinion. So as you know, Scottie McClue, you see people going, these views are my own, not the BBC's, people that work for the BBC. So I sort of, my views went on air. And the bosses backed it, not a problem. So there we are. So I still think the BBC should discuss what I do. I mean, it's ridiculous to assume that I can't change things, because we can. But, the huge, huge audiences came because it was the People's Show. McClue said his stuff. If they disagreed, they phoned in and told him in no uncertain terms. That's why it was so successful, because a lot of BBC radio stations could be getting much, much higher audiences. So there we go. Right, what have we got here? I've let Ian Quinn know you're on. I hope he comes on. I hope he does, Betty. That'd be fantastic. Hope you're well, Kareem, says Tam. If you can go back to 2220, you might see it. Oh, Frank, that would mean going way, way, way back. Yes, we need to move forward. That's the stuff. We need to move forward. Right, we need more posting, more sharing all the time. Fantastic. Let everybody know what's what, because there's so much media. I mean, somebody said to me one day, there's only about 1,000 people have seen your show from the other night. And I said, well, if I was a priest or a vicar or a minister, I'd be beside myself with 1,000 people, It's very strange. I can remember reading about in the 1930s, they had the biggest political meeting in Glasgow ever in the St. Andrews Hall. And 3,000 people had turned up. And that was just colossal. And I thought, I can get 3,000 people with a tweet, Very, very interesting. Just like that. I mean, there's one tweet, I think it's got 40,000. Thomas, who's tapped the dollar? Thomas has tapped the dollar. Thomas, you've not to do that. You're a naughty, naughty boy. You're not the Messiah. You're a very naughty boy indeed. There we are. Very kind of you. Very kind. Thank you. Appreciate it. And you have to shout, who's tapped the dollar? Thomas has tapped the dollar. Still, the BBC's a great broadcaster, but too much political bias. You see, there shouldn't actually be political bias. We need perhaps to have one of the news editors talk to us, go live themselves and say, this is our news policy, And, of course, being the British Broadcasting Corporation, they might not want to be pushing the Scottish agenda, you see, because the British, although having said that, there is no such country as Britain. It's all, even all this Brexit, all this carry on. Britain is a land mass. The United Kingdom is a kingdom of 4 countries, yes? Scotland, England, Northern Ireland, and Wales. 3 kingdoms and a principality. Oh, I don't know. I tell people again and again and again. And Great Britain, they're all going, oh, wouldn't it be great to make it great again? See, Great Britain is just the big bit of the landmass. Like Great Cumbria is the bit with Milport on it. You know, that sort of idea. And people don't seem to get that. You won't have heard the carry on I have had with Brexiteers. You know, I'm telling them straight, and they go, oh, rubbish. You give them the facts, you know, the facts. I mean, it's just sheer madness to be coming out the EU at all. People, that's what we all voted for, democracy. You think 1.2 million people dictating to almost 70 million people to leave something that we've built up, the world's top trading bloc, that we've built up over 50 years of peace and prosperity, that we joined because we were bust. You know, that sort of stuff. They don't seem to understand that. Just do it, says Thomas. Quite right, Thomas. I say, just do it. Alistair Campbell, did you ever think early on a life in pulpit, the place would have been mobbed? Did you ever think early on of a life in pulpit, the place would have been mobbed? Alistair Campbell, I was actually considering going to New College in Edinburgh to do a divinity degree. And I decided to become an actor instead, you know, but I would only be a vicar or a minister or a priest if I knew I could fill the place to capacity every single Sunday. Yes? That's the stuff. A good bit of brimstone and what else? There we are. I definitely agree with you, Scottie, says Tony. Scottie, what did you once mean when you said we wasted the forests of Caledonia on the Great Michael? Were you speaking about James IV of Scotland's Navy? I was. They said that James IV, who was quite a character, he'd taken part in the death of his father at, I think, the Battle of Sockieburn, is that right? 1392. Have I got that right? And then he came to the throne, and he wore, as a punishment, he wore a heavy lead belt round his waist for the rest of his life. But he was a good king, and he developed the Scottish Navy. And of course, this huge, huge flagship called the Great Michael. And they said to build the Scottish Navy, he had decimated the old forests of Caledonia. So that's what I meant there, absolutely. James IV, what a guy. Are you back at the day job, Scottie? I am, Tam. I'm back at the day job. Yes, indeed. Hello, Scottie. Dinky-Doo from Herries Road, your old stomping ground. Shabby. We love Herries Road. Do you know what I saw in Herries Road one summer? A mini tornado. It was just like an ice cream cone spinning along Herries Road. Have you ever seen one of these? Fantastic. Herries Road was great. Tell us about John Logie Baird, says Reese. Well, John Logie Baird was from Helensburgh, and he lived down south, and he developed the Baird system of television with things like hardboard and all that sort of ideas. And when the BBC were working on television, they actually had television prior to the Second World War, but they put it on hold because they were frightened if we were invaded, somebody would steal the technology. So there we are. So they put it on hold for the Second World War, and that's when it didn't really come into being big style populist until the early 50s. The coronation in 1953, June 53, was a great one for selling television sets. But there was television about, and they were on, what was the hill called again? The Fools on the Hill. There we are. Alexandra Palace. That was the big place for BBC television. There we are. Great to see you again, Scottie, says Captain Contagious. And you, Captain. I salute you, sir. Lovely to see you. Lol, says Shelley. Absolutely. Shelley, you never knew what you were going to see walking along Herries Road. I remember seeing an old classic tractor for sale. And I thought, will I buy that? It was lovely. Oh, that's lush. Fantastic, I say. So that was your John Logie Baird. And John Logie Baird actually attended Strathclyde University when it was the Royal Technical College, Strathclyde University in Glasgow. And one of his contemporaries at the college was John Reith, believe it or not. So there you go. So they weren't close, but they sort of knew who each other were. Very knowledgeable sources, Reese. And you, Reese. You're very knowledgeable. Helensburgh is a great place. If you drive along the front at Helensburgh, you'll see, is it around Sinclair Street, the big street going straight up? And you'll see, pardon me, you'll see a monument to Henry Bell. There we are, the creator of the comet. I see the comet, which its replica sits at Port Glasgow. Somebody said it was on very poor nick, so they are. But if you look up Scottie McClue, talks, in fact, we might even play it. If you look it up, I've done a wee number on Port Glasgow and Henry Bell. So there we go. You can get a bit of that. In fact, let me just see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find it. We'll post this. We'll just keep posting. Isn't that wonderful? Right, what I'm doing is I'm sharing, guys. If you can do the same, just share the broadcast and let people know what's what. What time are we at? Oh, my goodness me. Don't want to keep you too long. It's just really just a pop-up to say hi again and to hope you were all well, to have a catch-up. Now, have we got too little light or too much? Gordon said the picture was perfect, but I wasn't sure if Gordon said that before we put off the light that was reflecting off the badge. I enjoyed another trip to Whitby Bay again last week, Scotty. I never get bored of that place. The seagulls are, lie, and she doesn't say anymore. We'll get the next bit. We've missed it, Sherry. You've run out of typing. Like small dogs. Yes. And do they take your chips off you? I was once sitting in Millport. It's incredible the places I've been fortunate enough to be, you know, because now I haven't been up to Whitby, but I used to go to Bridlington for a fish supper from Sheffield. Well, I drove over to Brid. It's a privilege seeing you back, says Robert Scrimmager. I'll keep up the follows, apart from TikTok. I'm not a big lover of TikTok. No, but I've put some good stuff up on TikTok and I upload it to YouTube. So you should see that. Oh, yes, very greedy sods they are. Yes, you have to watch, Shelby, because they're like the monkeys in India and Africa. They'll take your lunch. So I was sitting in Millport. I was going to tell you, sorry, I digressed. And I was sitting in Millport and I was having chips and curry sauce. And a seagull just took a chip right out of my hand. I was just about to put it in my moosh, and it just took it out of my hand. So there we are. Crazy, crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy. Now, what I'm going to do here, I think we'll do a wee bit more sharing. Very, very important. Always good to do a bit of sharing. So there we are. Excellent stuff. Now, nobody's told me how they've all been, and we wanted to see about the structure of the show going forward. All right? So I need to know about how you would like to progress, if you would like to progress. Shall we do Friday night pop-ups? Have a bit of chit-chat, see what's what, like we used to do on the radio. 2 years ago, since I joined Nation Radio. Fantastic. There we are. Great station as well, sounding very good. Right. I'm just going to do another bit of sharing here. Now, I can't remember if I shared with the big Scottie McClue page, but that would be good. Can I have more likes, please? Like. We always love you, Scottie. From me and Mrs. Mac. Oh, bless you both. Bless you both, I say, Tony. Hope things are going well for you. Evening, Scottie, says the Impressionist. Evening, Impressionist. Lovely to have you with us, Dinky-Doo. We're just in the middle of a little bit of sharing. Fantastic. I was hearing about the new app that you've all been downloading. Sounds amazing. I shall look into that. There we go. That's what we want. Good bit of that. You can't beat it. Right. I'll send that off. And if you get that in, if you can share it, guys. Every Friday sounds good. Good stuff, Alistair. Yes, just a kind of get-together. Do you like the format such as it is? It's very, very loose. But we had William Wallace. I don't think the original, not the cadger, but we had William Wallace on earlier, and he was saying, the problem with this show is nothing ever happens. But what happens in any show, I say? You know, it's a thought, isn't it? There are every Friday. Does every Friday suit people? Does this time suit you? Just have a quick comfort break there. Does this time suit you, I say? Right? I think that's very important. Get the time right. All right, some more sharing. This is wonderful. What we could do, I could tweet. Excellent. And let everybody know via the tweet. What about that? That would be good. Yes, or you could all tweet. Get together with McClue on a Friday night. It's great stuff. Well, it's just a bit of chat because all your sophisticated telly, I'll tell you what lockdown has done. It's legitimized McClue coming on. Not that I needed legitimizing, but it's legitimized McClue because your most senior people in the country are coming on from their houses. You know, it's wonderful. I'll do a pub quiz theme on occasion. Captain Contagious, yes. My only worry about a quiz is nowadays people can look stuff up very quickly, whereas in the old days it was superb. Occasion. Yes, the predictive text got you there. Several months ago I was in air. The seagull swooped down and stole the flake of my 99 cone, says Betty McIver. Betty, that's quite irritating, isn't it? I'm not sure chocolate's good for seagulls. Very, very interesting. So there you are. Just going to have a wee comfort break. Here we go. Right. Fantastic. So there we are. I'm happy with the Friday night, Scottie. You're a busy man with your housework, your day job. So we're okay with that. Robert Scrimgeour, yes, it keeps us in touch. A pub quiz theme on occasion. Yes, absolutely. We could look at that. Do you have a little boat cruiser moored up to go and chill out on, Scottie? So there we are. I saw a beauty in Yarmouth. Very nice. So there we are. Yes, that would be an idea, wouldn't it? A vessel. Everyone would need to send me a few pounds, though. McClue retires on his boat. There we are. We'll buy a wee boat and go sailing. It's interesting because COVID has put a stop to so much. Do you sometimes think about it and it just washes over you? You think, well, it'd be nice to pop down to the pictures. Can't. What about the theatre? Can't. I'd like to go to a concert. Can't. You know, that sort of idea. And I don't know what the Secret Seven are going to be doing. One of them is not going to be making it. You know, you've just got 6. Seagulls have brilliant eyesight. I always remember a seagull nicking my fish at Ayr Beach when I looked away. Your fish, I take it was a fish and chip you were having, and it went off with your fish. This is crazy stuff. Right. Now, what I can do here, guys, I'm just going to tweet so you could all help. Now, what do we put here? Right, I'm tweeting. So we'll see what comes up here. Ah, right. What else can I put here? Friday. This is the tweeting going on, guys. So you can have some input to the tweet. I think that would be a good idea. Right. We're going to tweet now. And off it goes. There we go. Wonderful. That's that done. Yes, the old seagulls, they will pinch your stuff. Apparently, though, some of the sites abroad, the monkeys will mug you. Yes, I don't know if you've ever heard about that. The monkeys will actually come and mug you, and they've got to watch them. Watch the monkeys. I love them. I spoke to an Indian gentleman who said to me, monkeys are stupid. I said, no, I don't think they are, you see. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Now, we can invite on Karens and other easy to wind up people for you to have your way with, Scottie. Interesting comment there, right? So there we go. Invite other people to wind up. Now, what we need, I still say, it'll be interesting to see because there's such a high push now for Scottish independence. And it's funny that you hear people saying two things that mystify me. One is people who live in Scotland who don't want Scotland to be independent. And they don't want Scotland to run its own affairs. They want Westminster to run them. And the other is people that want to leave the EU and say, but it's democracy, you know, because that was if you look at the process, how we've got to where we are at the moment, it's very, 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 very flawed. Very flawed indeed. So there we go. Tony says, my mum passed away a couple of years ago. Was that a couple of years ago today, Tony? We send you love and blessings. Your mum, fantastic lady. Can you say hello to my dad, Alex Mack? It would have been my parents' 49th anniversary today. Ah, got you, Tony. 49 years married. They would have been, of course. I can say hello to your dear dad, Alex Mack. Dinky-Doo from SCOTTIE McCLUE and from everybody in the nation. We send you strength and love and blessings. So there you are. Your son is looking after you. Wonderful stuff. So there we are. Of course we can, Tony. We can do all sorts of things. This was, of course, the beauty of the phone-ins, because we would have a serious call, a funny call, another funny call, another serious call, all that. I need some more likes, like you like. As the proclaimers say, I can't understand why you let someone else rule your land, cap in hand. Absolutely, absolutely. And when you see, I was reading in great detail the jiggery-pokery that went on to have the union. And I noticed some dafties going, oh, you'll need to get your own currency. No problem, no problem. Because Scotland had to seriously devalue the pound Scots to facilitate the currency union in 1707. Oh, my goodness, now you know. Wonderful. Right. You know, I mean, I think what we would do is maybe go back to the same rate that we were at then. In the Scottish economy, you would have several pounds sterling to a pound Scots. People say, yeah, I mean, there's a pound Scots. It's worth 5 English pounds, £5 sterling. It's all doable because I remember one of the governors of the Bank of England just telling it straight. So there we go. It's all doable. Dinky-Doo, Scottie. Professor Nupteed. We wondered where you were, la. Excellent stuff. Scottie, let's get on a few of the idiot Brexiteers and take them to task. I know. I would like to tell them that we're live. I might just do that. Why don't I, in fact, do that now? See if I can post this. Right? Just bear with me, guys, because this is very interesting. And I'll go on to some of the pages where you tend to see. Let me go on to some of the pages here. This is all doable, you know. Everything's doable. Oh, it's all doable. Right, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to let some of them know that we're live now and see what is what. I think it'd be very good for them. There we are. Now then, what I need to do, right, I'll go down here. Marvelous. Marvelous. Right. Wonderful. I'm just sharing a couple of things while I'm on, just to let everybody know what is what. Wonderful. Right. So, and we'll see if we get some of the Brexiteers to come and join us. God bless you, Scottie. Bless you. Not at all, Tony. A privilege. Is there a Scottish version? Oh, Captain, contagious. I can't get involved in all that. My goodness me. What are you doing? What are you doing? For goodness sake. Right, here we go. Let's see what we've got here. Because this is good, yes. There we are. Right. We'll post this and see what happens. Some of the dafties. We'll see if we get some of the dafties on. This is what you would do if you were building up a brand new radio show. You see? There's a couple of new radio stations starting in Scotland, and I mean, anybody sensible would say it's madness to, to start a radio station and not consult Scottie McCLUE, because then you have what we call a unique selling point, right? All right, so what I'll do is I'll post on a couple of social media sites here, and we'll see what happens. This might be very, very interesting. This could be the night it all just happens, you see. Yes. Right, well, I don't want that, so forget that. There we are. Right. And we'll just see what happens. Pop that in there. Good. There, yes, that's excellent. And that's just posting now. That's excellent. Good. Right. And we'll see what happens there. Right, that's that been done. Wonderful stuff. And we'll see if anybody sees that. Special debating officer for Brexiteers. Both brain cells welcome. Absolutely, Captain Courageous. And they're so very, very rude about the people that are trying to save them. You know what I mean? That sort of idea. I think we maybe shouldn't have had Brexit at all. You know? I don't think we should have had it at all until we'd done an intelligence test on the levers. That's what I would have said. Hello, Scottie. Good to see you again. First time back since lockdown started. So there we are. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. First time back, and here we all are. Right? I'm just doing... Now I'll put that in there like that. Wonderful. Good. Right, that's excellent. That's that done, guys. So what happens. Wonderful to see everybody. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I think it's important. We'll get a good format. Friday night will be Dinky-Doo. Betty McIver, yes. Is everybody up for a quick Scottie McClue pop-up on a Friday night? Brexit was the intelligence test, I think, Scottie. Yes, I think probably that does sort out the wheat from the chaff. You know, the ones that actually say, right, 50 years ago, this country was nearly bust. And we got a chance to join the European Union. They knocked us back. Well, it was the common market in those days, the European community. They knocked us back, but we persevered and we got in. Because Winston Churchill's dearest wish was to see a peaceful United States of Europe with the UK at its heart and a single European army with a single commander. That was Churchill. And that's what we fought for in the Second World War. And then all this contrived stuff came along, an opinion poll with lots of whoppers being told. And people were drawn into voting Leave because they thought, well, if the NHS are going to get another 350 million quid a week, why not? You know, that sort of idea. Scottie, what's your favourite film? And have you seen Click by Adam Sandler? No, I haven't seen Click. I've heard a lot about Click. And I'll tell you what I saw the other day. And I've seen it. I could tell you the script. The Cruel Sea, based on Nicholas Montserrat's. Jack Hawkins and Donald Sinden as the skipper and number one. You know, on the Compass Rose, a corvette, a flower class corvette, which left Greenock and went to sea and got torpedoed. And I've seen it so many times, but it was just amazing to see it again. Do you think Brexit will mean exit for Boris? Well, the thing is, as soon as Brexit actually kicks in, because what we're doing is we're dragging 4 countries out of the world's top trading bloc. 510 million people, 28 countries. That gives you real clout when you're sitting around a table. And with our dear friends and allies, Germany, we control, the UK controls over 30% of the whole market. Now, that's gone. That's gone with Brexit. And all the arguments for Brexit, there's no de facto argument for leaving, because all the arguments are things like, well, we'll get our sovereignty back. We never, ever, ever lost our sovereignty. We'll get our borders back. We never, ever, ever lost our borders. We'll get our country back. There are 4 countries. They haven't been anywhere. They're members of a market. They're part of a big marketplace. So to put you in the picture, it's like if you were a farmer in Kintyre, you could take your sheep to Lochgilphead. Yeah? But if somebody then said, no, take them to this market, because that's where Campbelltown and Oban and Lochgilphead and Dunoon and Inverary and, everybody, Crianlarich, Stirling, everybody meets, and you'll get a better price because everybody will be there. Think about it, and that's it. And we've had 50 years of peace and prosperity, apart from any troubles being domestic politics. But we've decided just to come out of that because a handful of hooray Henrys didn't like some new laws that were coming in because it might have affected their pennies. So everybody's been watched from the back, It should honestly be cancelled, Scottie. They need to do everything they can to stop it. The fisheries policy aside, I do have some sympathy for the fishermen. It's an excellent market for the UK. Oh, the fish markets in this country were great, but am I not right in thinking that the British waters got fished out? People got too greedy. And most of our fish has been coming from EU waters. Well, Britain is the EU. You know, it's our EU. We are the EU. You know, we forget that. Nicola Sturgeon can still be seen every day through the Scottish Government website. Yep, that's great, but she should be on the national broadcaster, because if you're a public service broadcaster, I can't think of more of a public service than keeping the public updated on coronavirus, especially when there are briefings with the First Minister of Scotland, our top leader, our top politician. You know, very, very interesting. I don't know if you saw, I posted a video, and the video is about the monarchy. You'll see it there. Scottie informs you. And it's about the monarchy. And what the video is actually saying is that, remember, if we in Scotland are going for independence, we need to take the monarchy with us. And I got pelters from all sorts of dreadful guys. They don't realise the monarchy brings in, I think, what was it, 1.8 billion, you know, and very often 600 million, at least that sort of idea. It's virtually self-financing. And of course, there's nothing to do with splitting the parliaments. Very important to have that on board. So become a pro-monarchist if you're not already, and you're interested in independence. So there we are. As a minimum, Nicola's briefings ought to be on BBC Parliament. I hope the BBC are not going to broadcast any more of Number 10's briefings. Well, sauce for the goose, sauce for the gander, Gordon Robertson. When we entered into the contract of union, the Act of Union, it was 50-50. And anything new that happened was 50-50. So the BBC should actually be 50-50 with Scotland. Yeah. And I would like to check that and all the various stuff that goes along with it. But it should be 50-50. So sauce for the goose, sauce for the gander. If you're not going to show Scotland's briefings, which are outstanding, and I think maybe they're causing embarrassment in Westminster because, you know, our First Minister is extremely well organised. And these briefings are very, very well presented. And I think that if you're going to have that, then sauce for the goose, sauce for the gander. You know, otherwise it looks like bias, doesn't it? And we don't want that, do we? So there we go. So we shall see what is what. Good one, Gordon. Very, very interesting point, that. You know, very interesting point indeed. Now, for those of you that haven't seen the monarchy video, can I turn you in that direction? It's about 10 minutes, and it's well worth a look. I mean, I could pop it up here and let you see it, but I'm sure you can find it yourselves. You know, I think that'd be important. In fact, I'll tell you where it is. It's on the site at the top as the site's trailer at the moment. So do have a listen to that and do have a watch and let me know what you think. I think that's very, very important. So there you are. Would you like to see it just now? Do say. You're completely correct, Scottie, about the strength of the trading bloc, also the ease of joint innovation and IP sharing. I built a good life here in the Netherlands. Captain Contagious, you're in Holland, which, of course, my father and many thousands like him were known as the liberators for Holland, the paratroopers. So there we are, dropped into Nijmegen. Fantastic. My father was dropped into Nijmegen. Robert Scrimgeour says, they're terrified of Scotland. We ripped up Wembley Stadium in 1977, and the BBC has never backed us since. Wembley, North London there, I know it well. So there we are. Yes, that might be what it is, Robert Scrimgeour. It might be something to do with Wembley in 1977. Maybe the BBC have got long memories. But definitely I think they should be having a coffee with Scottie McClue. Although I don't drink coffee, haven't for 39 years. You know, but I think they should definitely be doing that. And we should be discussing having a proper people's programme in return for your hard-earned licence pay. I think it's very unfair that Scottish journalists working for the BBC are getting abuse. Decisions come from management and not the journalists. No, you're quite right. The journalists will be told what's expected of them editorially. You know, there's no doubt about that. So there we are. And as I say, it's 6 years today, I've posted it, since Scottie McClue was widely tipped to run broadcasting in an independent Scotland. I'm just wondering if the BBC would become the SBC, the Scottish Broadcasting Corporation, or maybe the Scottish Broadcasting Company, because John Reith incorporated it. Such a shame what's happening. I still love the UK. Combination of relic thinkers who still have the old England mentality and bring a target for lots of failed governments in the UK. But Captain Contagious, we're getting a huge stushy made about the people coming in on the little boats, the asylum seekers, calling them illegal immigrants. But one of the problems is the reason they're not necessarily being sent back is that the law is quite extensive. Yeah. The international law on that, maritime law, etc. So there we are. Would Ofcom regulate a Scottish broadcasting service, Scottie? Says Robert Scrimgeour. That would need to be discussed. So there we are. But you would need to remember that Ofcom, yes, the Office of Communication, is national and is, looks after a lot of stuff in England and Wales and I think Northern Ireland, that sort of idea. I would need to check all the various detail. So perhaps you would set up a Scottish watchdog for Scottish broadcasting. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Now, there we are, and get some worthies on the committee. Scottie, will you bring in a guest now and again? Alistair Campbell, I think that would be an excellent idea, but we would need to bring in a guest via Skype. So somebody like yourself coming on via Skype. But I'll see if I can get you some big names as well, because I think it would be nice to have an hour's chat or half an hour's chat with a big Scottish celeb that everybody sort of knows but doesn't really know and would like to get to know. And I think old McClue could probably manage to prize a little bit of information out of them, a little bit of knowledge and understanding, so we could look at that. I think that would be excellent. Now, do you want me to pop on this one about the monarchy? Let's have a bit of feedback from you, or do you want to look at it yourselves? So there are. So it's a moot point there, Robert, about a regulator for Scottish broadcasting. From that point of view, because of course the BBC didn't used to be under the national regulator at all. That was for independent broadcasting. It started off as the ITA, the Independent Television Association, and it was run by Sir Kenneth Clarke of Clarke's Thread Mills in Paisley, Lord Clarke of Civilization, Alan Clarke's, the politician's father, the late politician's father. And Kenneth Clarke ran the ITA. And so when Scottish television started, it would be under the ITA. And then it became the IBA, because obviously they were talking about regulating independent local radio, ILR, of which there's very little left now, you see. So, Scotland needs its own media, and Scotland needs to have control of its own airwaves. I think that's very, very important. There, très important. So there we go. And what we've seen, the way Scotland has handled the virus and dealt with it, has been absolutely outstanding. It really has been virtually beyond reproach. I know there's been one or two wee hiccups along the way, but if you can imagine that you're a politician like our First Minister, and this lands on your desk, and it's not just your country, it's every country in the world is affected. So you really have to be on your mettle as a leader. And there's not a huge training for world leaders. You've got to kind of carve it out for yourself. A little bit like phone-in presenters on the radio. You have to carve it out for yourself. So there we are. Now then, what's happening here? I remember in 1997, the national broadcasters being so positive in their outlook on Scottish devolution. Oh, fantastic. It could have been wonderful. So why not Scottish independence, says Robert Scrimger. Robert, what do you mean, why not Scottish independence? Tell us more. Tell me a little bit more about that. I'm quite interested. Any more likes going, guys? Thumbs up from that point of view. Yes, when, they were very, very excited about it. And what we've got is very interesting. We're very short on actual schedulers and programmers, people that know their audience, right? The one thing you cannot take away from SCOTTIE McCLUE, he does know his audiences. Absolutely. And that's what we're needing. So, Robert, tell me more about this, please. What have you got here? Oh, yes, I remember in 1997, the national broadcaster being so positive in their outlook on Scottish devolution, so why not Scottish independence? 2 messages. With you now, Robert. Sorry about that. Old McClue being a little bit slow there, a little bit tardy. Yes, excellent idea. So why are they not excited about Scottish independence? Well, I think your problem is that what's kind of happened here, Labour under Donald Dewar negotiated the Scottish Parliament, yes? So it was a unionist party with a devolved powers. Fantastic. And what, of course, has happened is Labour have slipped into the long grass. They're kind of wandering about a bit dazed in the wilderness, going, what just happened there? Because they failed to support Scottish independence. Now, when all the argy-bargy was going on, pardon me, sorry about the cough, had it for 20 years. When all the argy-bargy was going on, and you had a former Prime Minister and a former Chancellor of the Exchequer up speaking against independence and making all sorts of empty threats, as it turned out to be. People would lose their pension and all that sort of idea, and there'd be problems with currency. So the oldies panicked a bit because they were frightened. And if we have another Scottish independence referendum, we must guard against that kind of scaremongering. So maybe any politician saying something should be hooked up to a lie detector, and that sort of stuff to say they're telling us the truth. Now, had the Labour leader phoned head office or one of the senior Labour people phoned head office and gone, listen, guys, sorry to spring this on you, but we're going it alone. We're going to back independence. Labour might well have been the most powerful party in Scotland right now, you know, from that point of view. So it was interesting, but obviously that wasn't acceptable to their lords and masters doing sooth. So that's a wee problem there. But I think, yes, had they backed independence, because you see, Labour and the SNP have always really detested each other, because there was a point when you couldn't have got a paper between them, a piece of tissue paper between the two of them. They were as like as two peas in a pod, to use a wee simile. But that all changed. And of course, the excellent first-class organisation of the nationalists has just thrown the whole thing. So there you are. And the nationalists have forged ahead, because people are saying Scotland needs to be run with competence here. And when they say, you'll be short of money if you go it alone, you say, no, because what would happen is then you would brand all the Scottish exports, which are branded at the moment as UK exports, would be Scottish exports, and that would be included in the Scottish books. And also, if we said to companies, if you work in Scotland, you account in Scotland, none of taking your money away somewhere else. Labour sowed the seeds, but they were calling the SNP tartan Tories for so many years without realising the opportunity to go into coalition with them. Robert Scrimgeour, you're a man of great wisdom. I never really got why they didn't go into coalition, Scottie. Two centre-left parties. Yes, absolutely. It would have been very, very powerful. And also, you see, remember that the Scottish National Party was founded by the chairman of the Labour Party. So the Labour movement, although it was a national movement, you had the Luddites and all the rest of it going way back, the Labour movement was very, very powerful in Scotland. Very powerful. The Scottish political parties ought to be independent of the national parties, the same way the Northern Irish parties are independent parties. Gordon Robertson, terrific wisdom coming out here tonight. I'm so glad I've popped up, because you guys are just of a very, very high standard. There is not one dafty on here, and that is incredible. Fantastic. But you're absolutely right, Gordon. You know, I mean, why have you got unionist parties in a Scottish parliament? Now, Westminster's different, because one of the tenets of the Union was that Scotland, which had had 380 members of the Scottish Parliament up until 1707, when Queen Anne shut it down, the three estates, she shut it down, jiggery pokery, and they then decreed that you could have 45 Scottish MPs to the House of Commons and 16 to the House of Lords, all right? So that's 45 and 16, yes? 61. 61, replacing 380 members of Parliament serving Scotland, all right? Very, very important. I also think that the Scottish Secretary, the appointment that used to be the Secretary of State for Scotland, the Scottish Secretary should be appointed by the Scottish government to look after Scotland's interests in Westminster. Yeah, the way that office is set out at the moment, it could go either way. It could be looking after Westminster's interests in Scotland, which are considerable. Yeah. But also remember that Scotland has been flogged off. Yes, and London has sucked the life out of it. So there you go. I just want you to know that. You know, that's what's happened there. Nothing to do with the EU. When people say, well, see, we're following the EU, and we're doing very well. We're bust. And all these industries were being propped up, but they got sold off for nothing. Yes, to pals of the London government. And that is where your Scottish secretaries should have stepped in and said, no, you don't do this. And that's what you've got to look after. You see, Scottish Labour is totally discredited, says Gordon Robertson. They only have themselves to blame for that. Oh, Gordon, I saw it. I saw the bottom fall right out of them, if you'll pardon the expression. They're just wandering about in the political wilderness. And as they push for anti-independence, they will remain there. Trust me. And you know you can trust McClue to give you the facts. So there we are. I'm telling you. Tony says, Scottie, you're very educational and entertaining. Who needs a search engine, says Betty. She names the search engine when you have Scottie. Oh, absolutely, Betty. I can tell you all these things, you know. That's what makes me laugh and get upset as well when I see the idiot Brexiteers poo-pooing stuff I've told them, and they go, well, that's your opinion. I go, no. Forget my opinion. These are facts. Yeah? People say, what do you know about it? You think you know more than the people actually involved? I say, yes, I do. Because for around 50 years, I have researched international affairs, politics, economics, leadership. You know, around 50 years. There's some of the evidence behind me, you know. You can see it there, reference books. I've done that for around 50 years, got a couple of degrees, got an IQ of 164. Been broadcasting on television and radio for 36 years. Been argy-bargying for 28 years. Live, unscripted broadcasting, 50,000 hours of it, you know. So there's a wee bit of research there. Now, I'm not telling you that for any blah. I'm just telling you that because that's a fact, you know. So use me well and use me wisely when it comes to information, education, and entertainment. McClue's your man. Excellent stuff. So there we go. And who knows, I may yet get to run Scottish broadcasting for Scotland. So that's wonderful stuff. Now, have you had enough of me? Do you want me to push off? It's been absolutely outstanding tonight, guys. There's so many interesting things we have discussed. Ha-ha! Fully agree, Scottie. But that was brilliant. That was a brilliant self-big up. Well, no, Captain Contagious, you see, it's not a big up because I'm just telling you, you know. It's you know, it's not exactly a secret. Excuse me a second. Oh, a bit of that. Wonderful. No, there's no self big up, actually. It's just telling you straight because I've put in the hours, and that'll save you. So remember also, I did all my training and learning and careering before there was any internet. So you couldn't look anything up. You had to know it. Yeah? So there's no big up, although I must confess you've amused me because I can remember asking my mother, who was a lady of great wisdom and a true lady, and I said to her about somebody famous that she knew. I said, did you know him? She said, oh, of course I did. He was so-and-so's son, you know, a great friend of ours. And all right. You know, and then somebody else I was asking about one time, and I said, what was he like? Well, one of the world leaders at the time said, oh, he was a perfect menace. Anyway, I asked her about this guy one night, a famous person, and she said, well, he was, I said, what was he like, mother? And she said, well, he was kind of like yourself. He was full of the blah. So there we are. So I don't know if I'm full of the blah or not. So they are contagious. So it wasn't meant to be a big up. But as I say, who knows? I may well get to run Scottish broadcasting yet. The Parcel of Rogues, Alistair Campbell. You're absolutely right. The Parcel of Rogues. Trying to remember how many there was. It's quite extensive. There might have been about 15 or 20 of them. I'll check for you. And they all got a few quid silver, ranging from, I think, £10 or £15 up to £100. And when you tot it up, Scotland was sold for about 1,500 quid. Now, I might buy it back for 2K without seeing it. You know, I mean, I think that's give Westminster a wee profit there, a wee 500 profit. But that's it. £1,500 was the bribery and corruption to the Scottish nobles, to the Parcel of Rogues at the time. What about that? So there we are, 1,500 quid. Lots of respect, Scotty, meant in a gentle way. I know contagious. I do not take things like that the wrong way. Gosh, when you see what I get called when I post the truth, people go, berserk, you can't say. You say, sorry, it's the truth. I see you don't like the truth. The problem with most keyboard warriors today is they don't research or fact check for themselves. Nicola Tom, you're 100% correct. Very clever lady, and I see your posts online, very good as well. No, they don't check, but I'll tell you what else they don't do, Nicola. They don't look back at the rest of the thread. So I find I'm repeating myself and repeating myself and repeating myself. The occasional eagle eye, well, for goodness sake, stop repeating yourself. Same old McClue. Very good, very good. But they don't look back. So it's the same argument. Instead of going, have we discussed this before? Yes. And they say to them, where'd you get this rubbish from? I say, read the thread. Read the thread. They're looking for a new political editor on the BBC Scotland. And so there we are. After 30 years now retiring, says Jerry. There we are. Excellent. Robert Scrimger. Queensferry and Hamilton to name but a few of those rogues. We get a hard border with England in an independent Scotland. Hope we don't have another war with them. I don't think we'll need a hard border because our border's not the problem. Do you see what I mean? Our border is not the problem. Somebody's trying to say there's no border. Tot, tot, tottity tot. Tot, 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 tot. I see. Of course there's a border. But, no, somebody's saying about, the border. Yes, there's a border, but what we're really needing to do in Scotland is hang on to our income and have it all marked as these exports are Scottish. I don't know if you saw the gentleman that was flying the Saltire on the border and got told to take it down. I think the council maybe had told him, but somebody had told him to take it down. And I thought, this is just wrong. And I suppose another thing you could have that might be worth looking at is, until such time as independence, each country should have its own version of the Union flag. So if you look at the Union flag, the St. George's Cross is dominant. Now, why not have the tire, this is for Scotland, overlaying the rest of the flag? So the rest of the flag's in there, and you've got your blue background, but your white cross is dominant for Scotland. And people can say, that's the Scottish Union flag. You see? So there's another thought that's interesting. Nicola says, we need a dedicated Scottish TV channel made in Scotland for Scotland, where the truth and factual information is a top priority. Now, we have just had a new channel that's cost millions of pounds, and some of the programs apparently get 4,000. Now, McClue's pop-up can get 4,000 in no time. When I used to pop up on another platform, sometimes I would have 20, 30,000 people join me. Now, that's big. That's big in today's terms, yeah? And, I mean, Scott FM, with maybe anything up to 250,000 watching or listening, I should say, every half hour of the program, okay? And this, I'm not bigging anything up here, Captain Contagious. I'm just telling it like it is. 460,000 calls in a week to a radio station. I still hold that record. So, I'm not bigging anything up, Contagious. I'm just saying, only saying. So, if you think about it, we had two channels. We had an independent new channel that shut down, and I thought it was very good. And we had a national service broadcaster has got a new channel, and that was supposed to be serving Scotland. But you need to program these channels, yes, in a certain way that it's of a genuine interest to your audience. And I come back to knowing your audience, yeah? And I think if I went to them, I don't think they'd let me program their channels. But all I can say is it would get one heck of an audience, you know, but maybe they don't want an audience, you see. You know, I mean, the thing about an audience, a huge audience is worth far more to a commercial broadcaster than to a public service broadcaster. Although at some point, the whole concept of funding the BBC is going to come up for debate and discussion. It already is, you know, and they've got a massive international commercial side to them, you know. So there's that. So the license fee will be being looked at again, I would think. Robert Scrimger says, oh yes, what have we got here? This looks good. Yes, so Nicola says, where the truth and factual information is a top priority. Yes, where you're not trying to angle everything to suit somebody's agenda. I think that's the most important thing, because there's a bit of social engineering going on, isn't there? What shall we feed the Scots tonight? What shall we tell them? See if they all swallow it all up and believe it. You know, that sort of idea. Scottie, do Commonwealth nations still keep God Save the Queen as a second anthem? Obviously, with us retaining our monarchy, we'd always have it alongside Flower of Scotland. Yes, Robert Scrimger, the national anthem of Scotland is God Save the Queen, without any shadow of doubt. So there you are. That is Scotland's national anthem. Now, I like Flower of Scotland based on the chorus of the Hebrew slaves from the opera Nabucco. The Hebrew slaves, speed your journey. So there we go. Speed your journey, da-da-dee, da-da-da-da-da. You've all heard that. Oh, Flower of Scotland. Do you hear that? So Roy Williamson, the great Roy Williamson, an OG, an old Gordonstonian, lived up in Forres. Yes, lived up in Forres, in Murrayshire. And he wrote that, of course, so there you are, one of the Corries, and I adored the Corries. And to attend a Corries concert in the 1960s, I can remember coming out of one, and it was just uplifting. Two guys, Roy Williamson and Ronnie Brown, bringing alive old Scots songs, stuff that would have just lain buried on dusty shelves in a music library. They brought them alive again. They got people singing them. Even now, young people celebrate end of school, end of term to Loch Lomond, to Run Riggs Loch Lomond. And the Corries had a lovely version of Loch Lomond. They were great singers and instrumentalists. Experimented with Scottish music. And you would come out of one of their concerts absolutely uplifted that Scotland was the greatest place on earth. And I remember coming out with an old doctor friend. His son and I were great friends, and he'd taken us to the concert. We came out and he went, that was fantastic, Doctor, thank you so much. And he said, but it was a wee bit nationalistic at the end. It was quite frightening, I felt, you know. He was getting all that. Yeah, it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So there we go. So the Commonwealth nations, well, I'm trying to think, are there, this is just off the top of my head, are there 52 Commonwealth nations? And Britain still runs 16 of them, is that right? Something like that. So there we go. Because although Her Majesty the Queen is head of the Commonwealth, that is a courtesy appointment. So when she decides not to be head of the Commonwealth, then it would be very interesting. I think the Prince of Wales will take over, I would hope. It's funny that we keep God Save the Queen, which mentions rebellious Scots to crush, but Flower of Scotland about sending an English army homeward to think again. A little contradiction there. No, see, we don't sing rebellious Scots to crush. Marshal Wade, that was General Wade, the guy that built the roads for the militarization of the Highlands to control the Jacobites. So you're talking something that is 250 years old from that point of view. You know, Marshal Wade. Yes, so we don't sing that. Nicola says the Saltires were in Coldstream. They put them up every year, and this year we're told they were seen as a political statement. Yes, it was the council who wanted them removed. It's a disgrace. It is a disgrace because the Saltire is not a political flag. The Saltire is a royal flag. And the reason it came about was King Angus was saying a prayer on the morning of battle. Ancient, way back, Angus, A-E-N-G-H-I-S, King Angus. And he asked God for a sign. And he looked up at the sky, and there was a clear blue saltire sky with a diagonal white cross. And of course, it was the diagonal cross that St. Andrew had been crucified on, because he didn't want to be crucified on a cross like Christ, his Lord and Master. He didn't think he was worthy of being crucified on Christ's cross, the Christian cross. So he asked to be crucified on a diagonal cross. How brave and courageous is that? And when Angus looked up, there was the blue sky, and there was the white cross, crisscross. And there were no jets in these days. There were no jets in these days, guys. So there you go. And that's what Angus saw. That's what Angus saw. Yeah. And he won the battle, gave him courage to win the battle. And he was the king. So it's a royal flag, the saltire, not a political flag. Is the line rampant not the official flag, Scottie? It predates the saltire. It's got the coeur de fleur round that symbolises the old alliance with France. Well, you see, the old alliance was 1714. The saltire was before, I'm sure, Angus. Look up Angus. That was a long time before the lion rampant. The lion rampant was later. Then you've also got the unicorn. The lion and the unicorn fighting for the crown. And of course, the crown is a Scottish institution. So people that cheek up about the royal family, yeah? And remember, even although there have been recent challenges for certain members of the royal family, nothing is proven. All of that is speculation. So there you go. So cheap shots against our royal family, who are virtually self-financing, who are effectively a Scottish institution. I mean, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh are the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. Prince Charles is the Lord of the Isles, Baron Renfrew, the Duke of Rothesay. Yes, all these things. So, you know, that's what I say. Yes, absolutely. Winston Churchill's monument was attacked again. Yes, and by people who have very, very poor grammar, I noticed. So that might be an easy way to catch them, that they've got very poor grammar. So there we are. So the line rampant, yes. The coeur de fleur round it symbolises the Old Alliance. Well, the Old Alliance, I think, was 1714. Am I not correct? You know? Because, you see, Scotland has been trading with Europe for 1,000 years. And it interests me that your so-called little Englanders are up in arms, because most so-called indigenous English people are either Anglo-Saxon, so they're German, the Angles and the Saxons from Saxony, or they're Norman, so they're French, or they're Roman, so they're Italian. And the same in Scotland, the Vikings from Norway. So everyone is an immigrant. We're all Africans from the African Rift Valley. So everyone is an immigrant. And I have done a video which you can look at. I did it the other night. It's about 10 minutes. And it's called Just a Thought. Now, you might like to have a wee look at that, because it's about an asylum seeker who came to Scotland looking for asylum and came in a small boat, even smaller than the boats that the asylum seekers are coming in. And it didn't have the buoyancy of a rubber dinghy. And it was a coracle. And the year was 536. And the asylum seeker was St. Columba, who got flung up on the beautiful sands of Iona and brought us Christianity. 536, an asylum seeker. Can you imagine if we'd sent him back to Ireland? Oh, my goodness me. I need to check out the origins of the lion rampant. It may be a House of Stuart symbol. My ancestors carried it as standard bearers. No, the lion rampant is one of the good guys. Don't worry about that. Robert Scrimgeour, no, the old alliance goes back to 1296, Scottie. John Balliol and all that. Tum Tabard, Scotland promised to help France, England, and sacked Berwick, which was then Scottish, as a reprisal. Yeah, but in those days, the border reivers used to, Dumfries got attacked, so the next night they just rode over and laid waste to Penrith. They were a very rough old crew. Still, border towns have a wee bit of argy-bargy. Castle Douglas and Dunbeatty and all that stuff. Scottie, if there was a career that you'd like to take up that isn't radio or entertainment, what would it be? Oh, I think education or politics or the church. I'm probably a little bit old for the military now. So there we go. So if it wasn't radio or entertainment, I think education, I think writing, but you need to be very disciplined. I've started a novel. You can hear chapter 1, Deliver Us from Evil. Put it into YouTube, Scottie McCLUE, Deliver Us from Evil. You'll hear chapter 1. But no, I think, what about politics? Do you think politics would be my bag? Not terribly good at misconstruing the truth. That's the problem. You see? People say, oh, don't tell them that, for goodness sake. I say, we have to tell them. They are the people. They are the people who put us here. Of course they should be told. You might be at loggerheads. You might be at loggerheads. I'm sure my first morning in politics, one of the big bosses, one of the whips would come up and say, now, you shut up. You speak when you're spoken to. Very good, Chief Whip. All that. I got in trouble for saying bless you to someone. I was accused of discriminating against other religions. I am Christian. I'm respectful of other beliefs. What do you think? No, bless you is absolutely fine, because someone's God will be blessing them. Some people are blessed by God. There is only one true living God, but no particular religion has got the monopoly on God. The 1714 alliance was to do with Louis XIV, trying to get the old pretender back on the throne. He sent him across in 1708, but he was stopped at Creil in Fife. Robert, can you just double check that it was Louis XIV, the Sun King? Just double check it. You are right. You're right about Creil, and you're right about the French King Louis, and you're right about the 1714 alliance. So that's what I tend to think of as the old alliance. But yes, there was an early alliance in the 1200s. John Balliol. Remember, Scotland had 4 universities when England had 2. Scotland had Aberdeen, St Andrews, Glasgow and Edinburgh. England had Oxford and Cambridge. But 2 of the greatest Oxford colleges are Oriel and Balliol. There we are. Scots colleges. Scots origins. John Balliol. Yes, Luke, FMQs would be great if Scottie was FM. Gordon Robertson. You're just thinking of my quick riposte. I found God, Scottie. He was hiding under the stairs. Professor Numpty, you're laughing. You're making light of it. But those of us that were brought up being told that God would look after us. I can remember as a wee one, you said your prayers, then you were told God would look after you. And I can remember as a wee one, when the room went dark and everybody had gone, looking up at the ceiling to see if I could make out God's face watching over me. Otherwise, how could he see me? Do you see? So I thought, and when you were little, did you ever hear something under the bed and look under the bed? There's nothing there. But when you were looking under the bed, did you wonder what was happening on top of the bed? Tiny's. As a tiny, I can remember it. Late one tonight, says Tam. Yeah, a wee bit late. Tam, I'm just going now. Politics are fascinating, but I wouldn't like to be a politician. Too much scheming and backstabbing. Plus, as you said, having to support policies with which you might not agree. Love your sentence construction there, Gordon. I always do. Hello, Scottie, says Aaron. Aaron, lovely to have you with us, Aaron Shabir. I've been passing my time watching the old videos, Scottie. Entertaining to say the least. I thank you. Very kind of you. Gordon Robinson says, if you speak to God, are you religious? But if God speaks to you, that makes you a loony. No, Gordon, I think that you have to watch what you do with it. If it's somebody who's hearing voices in their head and they commit a dreadful act or something and say, God spoke to me, then that's something. But I think if you do something great for somebody and they say, thank you for doing that, you think, no, that's God's work. God spoke to me. I don't know. I don't think that's an idiot. I see you've tidied the beard up, looking sharp, sir. Thomas, I thank you. I know you look sharp. And you've tidied your beard as well, I believe. Politics is division by definition. But as Churchill said, democracy is the worst form of government, apart from all the other methods that have failed miserably. Churchill also said success was staggering from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm. They came out with a lot of stuff. They were trying to make Boris out to be Churchillian the other day, but I couldn't really find anything that was clashing with old Churchill. I couldn't really. I wasn't managing to see it. That's all I'll say. So there we are. No disrespect to the PM, of course. Now, what was I going to tell you? Some very interesting stuff. Yes, I always think my favourite one is you can't have a democracy if people won't do what they're told. They're all crying democracy for this Brexit thing, but it's you've effectively got a majority of 1.2 million dictating to almost 70 million that they must rip 4 countries out of the world's top trading bloc, 3 of them against the will of the people. Is that democracy? Give me a wee minute. I have to have a think about that. Right, so there we are. I would say no. I've near ended that sentence with a preposition, but I caught myself in time. You caught yourself in time too. Thanks a lot, Scottie, for setting this up again. Great conversation. It's almost 1 a.m. here in Amsterdam, so I'm going to go to bed. Yes, take care. Best wishes to you and all the other listeners. Yes, and don't you pay for everything yourself, Captain Contagious. Go Dutch, I say. As my late mum said, be nicer to your enemies because God will bless you for it. She was a woman of great wisdom, Anthony. Bless her. Oscar Wilde, democracy is basically the bludgeoning of the people for the people and by the people. Well, it certainly has been with Brexit. If Oscar Wilde was here, he would have a word or two to say about Brexit. Brexit only got 37% of the vote. Nothing democratic about it. God's will, says Alistair Campbell. Night, Scottie. I'll let you go. Been a pleasure. Night, Robert. I'm off as well. Would a Brexit recount be the end of it, or would it just cause more trouble? No, Jihad, I think maybe intelligence tests, IQ tests for Brexiteers before we go any further with Brexit. Scottie, the final comment. I could never go Dutch as I'm partly Scottish, so I've already got that one flowing in my bloodstream. Captain Contagious, good night and God bless you. And you will be upstanding in the morning. And I will say to you, come into house, Wiltshire Kupati Heben. There we are. Yeah. Night, Scotty. Thanks for a great show. Night, Nicola. Richard Bonnet, Dinky-Doo. Good night, everybody. And God bless you. And we'll hopefully all catch again. I shall let you know when the next pop-up shall be. Gordon Robertson, think you might see Brexit differently. He stayed in the southeast of England. Plus, it was a protest against various UK governments. Brian Gregory, I've not watched for ages. Glad to be back. Night, Scotty. Bless you, says Anthony. Bless you, Anthony. Good night, everybody. Bless you all. And this is Scottie McClue saying Dinky-Doo. Thank you for watching. And ta-ra, lass. See you soon, Gordon. Night, Alistair. Ta-ra, lass.